So this one was kind of a little bit better because there was a lot more to it, and obviously it was a little bit different. Now this was with the legendary Soraka tech, just to kind of explain the magic pen thing I spoke to you about earlier with Lux. The support item, when you finish the quest, it gives you one mythic proc. So whatever mythic item you have, you get one of the mythic procs from the support item alone. So, for example, with Ludens, that's 5 magic pen, right? Now, on top of that as well, if you go Dark Seal and you manage to stack that, which on these champions, Dark Seal's very good because you get pretty much 1,000 gold, just from 10 stacks on Dark Seal, which is incredible considering how cheap the item is, right? So it's very, very good. So then you can get Medjai's as well, and Medjai's also gives you one mythic proc. So with basically a starter item and Medjai's, which is only 1,600 gold, you end up getting 10 magic pen. So here we get 10 magic pen. Now with boots on top, they're another 18 pen. So all of a sudden we're at 28. And then Ludens as well gives 6, right? So we end up with 34 magic pen off Medjai's, support item, and Ludens alone. So in theory, it's a one item spike, which on champions like Lux, she's very, very good at getting kind of early kills. Especially, into, like, obviously we counted her here by going Soraka, but when she's kind of into kind of shielders, so say if you're into things like Lulu and stuff like that, then you can actually do a ton of damage. But basically, with just Ludens and Medjai's, you get 34 magic pen, and the average magic resist of champions in general is between 32 to 33, and it doesn't really scale too hard, right? So by the time you finish all this build, that like the enemy ADCs are going to have maybe 34 or 35 magic resistance. So you're basically doing true damage off one item. Does that make sense?
I am terribly bad at these things.
It's okay. It's okay.
First time, but I follow you. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is why kind of champions like the Lux are so oppressive, and I think very, very underrated right now. So things like Lux, Vel'Koz, and even, well, obviously Brand wants Leandries way too much. But yeah, things like Vel'Koz, Lux, like this is what makes them so good. Even Xerath and LeBlanc, I think LeBlanc support definitely has a place in the meta, especially as a flex pick too.
What
So
about Talia and Syra?
yeah. So Zyra just really wants Leandries,
Okay, so more
because
like
because it procs with her plants. So Zyra Brand are more kind of utility slash burn kind of champs. So they want things like the Leandries, sometimes Demonic Embrace. But what you could also do is you can go Leandries into. You can get your Sword Shoes first item anyway. Then you can go into Leandries, and then you can go into Shadow Flame. Now this is why things like Brand and Zyra are so good into shielders. So say for example, if they pick a Lulu, obviously a lot of shields, you can go something like Brand or Zyra because you get Leandries. Well, first you get your Sorks, and then you get Leandries, and then you get Shadow Flame. So when you get Shadow Flame, if they are 1,000 HP or less, then you get 20 magic pen against them. And if somebody gets shielded, you instantly get that 20 magic pen as well. So then you get the 20 magic pen plus the 18 from Sorks, and that gives you 38 magic pen. Which again, I think there's only one champion in the game with more than 38 base, and that's Talon. So Talon, I think, has 39 magic resist. Just out of nowhere, he's like an exception. So just this three alone, on Brand, Zyra, into those kind of kind of shielding supports is basically true damage as well. But obviously, this is a little bit more expensive because this is relying on 2 items, and one of them is a needlessly large rod item. But yeah, overall with the whole kind of magic pen with Lux, again, you just need Ludens and Medjais, and that's it. So what you can also do is, obviously, Medjais becomes gold efficient at 9 stacks. So as soon as you get 9 stacks, it's 100% gold efficient. So you only ever really want to build it when you either have 9 stacks, or if you're snowballing, you can build it at 5 stacks, because then 1 kill will give you 4, which again will get you to 9. So this 5 is the... Obviously, maybe try this on a Smurf and stuff first, just because they're a little bit more out there in terms of champs. They're a little bit more difficult, and they're, like stuff like Brand isn't as prominent right now because the meta isn't too great for him. He doesn't really like being into long range lanes. He likes being into like the melee supports that he can walk up and do a lot to. But again, this 5, you only need that 5 stacks on Medjais because it gives you that mythic bonus. So you don't really need it to be 100% gold efficient as long as you have 5 stacks. And then you get to that 9, it's 100%. You get one more kill or assist, and then you're at 10 plus. So you get the movement speed as well, which is really good. So yeah, so overall, that's kind of the biggest thing with Magic Pen. The main thing to take into consideration is these numbers. Just the 32 to 33 is base MR. I've just taken into consideration that you can get that super easy because the support item on Medjais gives 10 Magic Pens. So that was kind of what I was going at with the kind of Magic Pen. Obviously, having it broken down is a little bit easier, and obviously I'm recording this as well. So if you want to watch it back later and just kind of get another grasp for this, then feel free. But yeah, so that's kind of why things like Lux are super good. But let's jump into reviewing the actual gameplay. Because this was, where we did the actual Warmog strat. So again, Warmog strat, the basis of it, I'll break it down a bit, is Warmogs is ridiculously expensive, but Kindle Gem gives haste and HP. Now HP early into the game is unbelievably strong. Like, it's very, very good. And, you get so much of it from Kindles. So what you can do is you can get your Lucidity Boots, which Lucidity Boots are just way, way, way too good to pass up on. And then you can get 2 times Kindle Gem and then build just full Warmogs. And then as soon as you finish that Warmogs, as long as you're... I think you can do it at level 7. Actually, I think you can do it at level 6. But you'll never really have the gold for it by level 6. So usually you're looking anywhere between level 8 to level 11 is when you actually finish that off. But the reason it's so good is because you are constantly regenning, and because you have over 1100 HP, so you're constantly regenning. And because in terms of actual mythics, now Bandle Glass is, it's not that amazing. The item alone is kind of bad. So the reason behind this is because Kindle Gems are so good. They provide a nice amount of HP and a good amount of haste. So you can get a lot of early haste, which Soraka loves, especially considering your ultimate is so impactful, and you can do so much on the map with it. You can get assists at other sides of the map, stuff like that, which is very, very good. But as long as you have over this 1100, you never ever need to actually enter the fights anymore, because you will consistently be healing to full HP in the back. And like we'll see in this game, you can get Fairy Charms, which sell back for 70% of the gold that you buy. So that 30% gold that you lose is no problem whatsoever, because the amount of HP that you return to your team is unreal. Now, in this game, we are into a Vel'Koz and a Lux, 2 very, very heavy poke champions. So us getting that Warmogs completely negates both of their kits entirely, and then the rest of our team can just focus the Jinx. So it's kind of like you're working towards that goal of the Warmogs, and then your sustain is basically based on your mana alone, which your support item gives a ridiculous amount of mana. And then, like I said, you can just stack Fairy Charms, stuff like that, and you can end up with so much mana regen. It's like, we'll see in this game that as soon as you picked up that double Fairy Charm, and mana really didn't seem that bad, right? Like, it was actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's walk through this. So obviously before the recording started, they came into the lane early because they didn't leash, I think, and so they pushed this wave in. Now this isn't too bad. I mean, it is a little bit bad for Jin. They're actually playing this lane right because obviously Jin can't really do anything if he's pushed into tower because he has to use his autos and his abilities to farm the wave. So that's kind of why they've done it. But here you obviously get a slow push in, because of they pushed him way too hard. Jin did kind of ping to go in, but again, like we only want those short trades, so we don't really need to walk up too much.
Yeah.
Especially considering if Lux manages to get a Q on us, she's going to go into an E. The Jinx is going to get a W as well, and we just don't need that. So this was fine. Jin. Oh no, he did use his fourth shot there, but so he didn't have.
Okay.
Yeah, so he didn't have autos, so he couldn't actually finish her off, unfortunately. But the thing is, like, it doesn't really matter too much. So Jin isn't really forced as much here to finish her off. So why do you think that is in this lane? Why do you think it's
What?
actually better for her to be here at this HP than for Jin to
Because
get the kill?
it's harder for her to. It's like in ARAM. You don't want to kill them off.
Yeah.
You want them to stay low so that they can't contest the wave.
Yeah, and so that you can pressure them as much as possible. Now, the Lux can't actually do anything either, and Lux only has shields. She doesn't have heals. So this is one of the reasons why Soraka is such a good pick into her, because she pokes and you have sustain. So you just keep healing up her poke over and over, and then what happens is we damage their HP pool, as you can see here. But like their mana pool is the important one. So their mana pool gets completely demolished by us, and then they can't really do anything. So Lux needs mana to be able to poke, but her goal is to poke you down enough that her mana is enough, but it's never enough into a Soraka. So this is why it's super good. And as you can see here, like we discussed at the start, this is an example of that kind of playstyle triangle coming in, where Lux is the poke and you're the sustain. So you end up countering her purely because the archetype of your champ is good into it. So memorize this as much as you can, because it's not just about what champion you choose, it's also about how you decide to choose to play your champion, right? Because obviously Soraka is a hard sustain champ, but she can poke a little bit, right? So say for example we're into a Leona or a Blitz, or not a Blitz, like Leona Thresh, I guess Blitz to some degree as well. Even though we're not a poke champ, we can use our Q and our E whenever we have the mana to somewhat poke them out from being able to all in. If that makes sense. So it's like, it's not just about what champion you choose, it's about if you have to blind pick your champion, it can kind of give you some guidance on how you need to play that lane in order to at least be relevant, even if you're in, say, like a really bad matchup, right? So very, very handy to just keep note of. But here, so again, like I said, that these ruby crystals early on into the game, giving us 150 HP. Now, obviously, Kindle Gem only gives us 200 HP, so we actually end up spending 400 gold, but we get 10 ability haste. Now, on some champions, we do want to go, say, double ruby crystal early. So what you can also do with this is you can, if say for example you're in an all-in lane, you can sometimes go double ruby crystal early, because the amount of HP that you get, that 300 HP, that extra 100 can actually be the difference between surviving a Leona all-in and being able to heal yourself and your Jin up to full, or not quite being able to. Now in this lane, obviously, because we have the good matchup, we can go with Kindle Gem, and we can actually use that haste as much as possible. But because obviously the stats on Kindle Gem are base stats, it means that they're not a unique passive, which means we can stack them and it doesn't really matter. Which is obviously very nice for us, because then that means we get 20% ability haste, which comes to about 15% cooldown reduction. So here, this is fine, a nice little bit of poke there. Unfortunately, Jin got kind of deterred by the Lux, so he didn't walk up and fourth shot, but it's okay. We don't really mind too much. Again, like I said, when you're playing kind of Soraka and you know that you're in a very, very good position for Soraka, you don't really need to worry too much about rushing the game. Instead, you can, just focus on just playing the lane slow. You don't have to take any unnecessary risks because you're gonna end up being way more relevant later on into the game anyway, especially because Lux relies on getting those early kills to get to that magic pen spike. So if she doesn't actually get them, that's bad. Now, here this was a little bit risky because, again, your Hecarim is at the... it's just recalled, but he was at the opposite side of the map anyway. So in
Yeah, I
this kind of
wasn't being
situation...
mindful of shock
Yeah. So
that they had that as a jungler.
yeah. It's very, very oppressive. I hate Shaco, but yeah. So for example, positioning up and walking here, we never really need to do that. Like we can just sit back and especially use the brushes. The brushes are your best friend in bot lane. They just provide you so much in terms of vision denial of yourself that they're just very, very good. So try and kind of focus more towards the brushes. Now, what situation do you think you wouldn't want to use the brushes too much? What kind of champions do you think the brushes are bad against?
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. So obviously anything that can hook, it's usually bad to go into. So things like Blitz, Thresh, Pike, Nautilus,
Oh yeah,
you can't really go into the brushes anymore. So those
of
are kind of
course.
the supports where you would more so be looking to go behind the minions. But yeah, when you're against things like a Lux, like the brushes are your best friend. So here we get a Kindle Gem anyway. Again, this is incredibly valuable early on into the game because at 10 haste 200 HP is unreal. You're already at 1000 HP, which is very, very nice. So that didn't hit. I refused, but so here this is fine. Again, positioning a little bit here though, like we're a little bit too far up. So here this is fine, but then see here we run very, very close to melee range of the Jinx. When they've got Lux back here and the Shaker is floating about too, so we have to be a little bit careful of that. And then we just got clipped by that Lux Q. But the reason we actually got clipped by that as well is because she's actually on. Yeah, she threw it from low ground, I think. No, she didn't. Never mind. So these little ramps here, you have to change how you throw your skill shots because it's low and high ground. I feel like 6 months ago that was such an unknown concept, but now people are actually know about it a little bit more.
Have you gotten the? It's a bug when you play Alistar. He walks on top of the terrain.
Oh yeah, I was playing a game with him not long ago. Yeah, it's very annoying.
Now I just got so focused on pinging top that I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, we did
Because
kind
I
of get
wanted to go around there,
Yeah.
and then I see and then I just autopiloted and I wasn't supposed to go
Yeah,
there.
unfortunately, we got caught, and then she still got him. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate because I mean, at the end of the day, we can't really control that as much. So again, boots are fine here because again, Lucidity boots are such a huge part as well, and they give so much haste also, which is really, really good. So we can pick those up, and now since we've got this, again, we've got our boots, we've got Kindle Gem, we can go into a second Kindle Gem. Which will then allow us to just build directly into Warmogs, and we instantly get the bonus. Because the thing is, Kindle Gem already builds into pretty much all the items that you want anyway, so it becomes very, very valuable. And it's not like you're just building it for the sake of it, right? Like it's you're actually going to build it into things. So at this point, the game, the Jinx was quite ahead, but it didn't really matter too much. That was very, very clutch. I'm surprised we actually survived there, to be honest. But
Yeah, it was me just not thinking about him for like 5 seconds
yeah,
and then
this is the thing. Like
there.
invisible champions, like they work because you forget that, like, you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't see them, it's fine. Oh, wait.
And then you can't even see them on if you like use pink words.
Yeah.
Can't see him.
Yeah, some
And now I
champions
just
have
do it
true
again.
invisibility.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the Shen here, I think, right?
I was trying to like hover and see if I could do something, but yeah, just try and help him get the path out. But he actually managed to survive, which is kind of crazy, and I
Yeah,
also
I mean,
did.
which is pretty good. I mean, to be fair, we maybe distracted the Shaco
Yeah,
to come
so
to
I
us.
think it's like yeah,
So
I
it
think
wasn't too bad.
Shen would be the yeah, yeah, I agree. But it's like I should be more mindful of it.
Yeah, just a tad.
Get
But
that.
so this was good. Unfortunately, we didn't get a kill. So this was actually really good how you positioned here to get away from the Jin.
Yeah,
Like
I
sacrificing
didn't want
yourself
her
as a
to get
support.
yeah, I didn't want her to get excited and be
Yeah,
in range to like just
kill
insta.
him too. Yeah, it was really good positioning. And so we got away here, which is good. Um, so again here, I should have mentioned this. Kindle Gem instead of the Giant's Belt there. Obviously,
Yeah,
Giant's
okay.
Belt gives a lot more HP, but we're looking for the haste more than anything.
Okay, yeah.
And then
So
here
it's
we...
like when Chalice of Harmony or when that was the thing at teens.
oh
I
yeah,
remember
yeah, that item was so good.
yeah, it was I think it was like a similar path, only you went the side.
Yeah, I think so. I can't actually remember. Athene's Unholy Grail, right?
Yeah, and you were like trying to just stack up your CDR
Yeah. So
as much
it's
as
kind of
possible.
similar. Yeah, because it was only yeah, you went double Fairy Charm, right? Fiendish Codex, Chalice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, like this is kind of fine. Obviously, where this is the kind of the null section of this kind of build, where you have plenty of haste and you do have plenty of mana regen with your support item. Like the support item is the reason why this works, right? Because the HP that you get from it actually puts you above that 1100 mark, and then you just get so much mana regen off it as well. It's just incredibly strong. So this was some Chad Soraka gameplay right here, like to save his life. Like the flash in here to save him. Oof, because he would have 100% died there. Like
Oh yeah.
Shaco's ult was about to kill him, so that was really good. Now, obviously, I don't know if they got soul this guy. I don't think they did, right?
It's so weird to see me on Soraka now. I was Soraka OTP before.
Oh, really? I think
Yeah,
Soraka is unreal. I think she's such a good champion.
I was top 1 US and top 3 in the world.
Oof. So let's spam it some more. Here, honestly,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I think so. I think so with this new build.
it's very good.
But I need to like play differently because my playstyle is still in that when her E was kind of OP and
The
Q.
Q
When he
was just damage
yeah
that was undodgeable, right?
yeah.
I still remember.
I was playing her like I was in front of our minions
Yeah,
and I was just god like
yeah, she was
I
so
danced on
oppressive.
them.
I remember
Yeah.
when people realized that she was viable mid lane. I'd been saying for a long time, like this champion is very good in a solo lane because if you build like more AP focus, they can't dodge your Q. So it's like
Yeah.
you end up pushing the wave whilst also doing damage to them, which is unbelievable. Now, again, positioning a little bit here. Now this obviously is a little bit rough because it's like she is super
Yeah,
out of position.
I was
Um,
trying to see
yeah,
if I could do something,
so
and
it was
yeah, I don't
okay to
know.
kind of come across here while Hecarim's up here, like kind of gating them away.
Yeah,
So you get this kind of pocket here where you can keep healing her, but then after that
yeah.
you have to just drop back to here and play behind Hecarim. Going
Mm.
around like this, you can never really get away with that. Especially because the Mordekaiser came right and like they're all here.
Yeah.
So I get the intention you were trying to save her, but one of the biggest things when you're playing champions like Soraka as well is realizing when a champion can't be saved, or when you
Mm.
shouldn't be looking to save them, right? So like in this position, it's like, okay, you shouldn't be looking to save her because she's already got caught, and you also get caught through that, you know.
Yeah.
Mordekaiser does use his ultimate on you, which you are dying to the ignite anyway, but the team still kind of clean it up here, and then they get a really, really good fight into Baron, which gives you the gold for your Warmogs. Now, this is... obviously, this is a bit rough. We could have just gone straight to bot lane and tried to, you know, farm maybe some of these minions. But either way, it's completely fine. You know, like, we're just waiting for them to finish Baron so we get that gold. And now we get the Warmogs. So, as you can see on the hover, you end up with over 1100. Again, you get that at level... yeah, 1168 was it?
Yeah, I think so.
1164.
No, 64.
Yeah, so... you know, so you're restoring 117 HP per second, which again, when you're a champion that gives away your HP, having that regen is ridiculously broken. So here it's just kind of how we play around this spike now, because again, this is a point now where we can play extremely far back. And it doesn't really matter that much because Soraka at this point of the game doesn't really have the ability to walk up and really do that much anyway. Like, you're either going to use your E in a team fight that's already kind of ongoing when you're in a safe position to do so, and you don't really need to use your Q anymore. Your ult is global, so right now you can sit way, way far back. So, like, even here, like, we just never really need to walk up, and there's no real point in actually walking up there because... You know, we just need to wait for our jungler to come. And like here, we just want to sit behind people as much as possible. So...
I'm trying to get them to go, but...
Yeah, it's a little bit rough.
But we end up stealing it.
I'm not too sure.
Wait, or is it the next
one? I think it was the next one.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I think Shaco tried to take it, but he couldn't, right? So, again, so see positioning here?
Here it's just me playing like old Soraka. I need to play new Soraka.
Yeah. So it's like right here, it's like we provide more if we just keep healing this Hecarim and we just sit back. Because we're at full mana right now, full HP. So we just need spam heals on him, right? Because like right here, the fact that he's walked away without full HP means that we haven't really done anything. Because the thing is as well, our mana isn't regenning right now because we haven't really done anything. So here, we heal him like crazy. Like, because we use that ult here as well. And, you know, it's like we didn't really need to. And then
I was thinking about Jin.
Oh, yeah.
In
so it's like here, it's like, again, we don't really need to walk up this far. We just stay like back here, heal him. So another thing you want to kind of do is walk in, heal, walk out, wait for the cooldown. Walk in, heal, walk out, wait for the cooldown. You know what I mean? So play around your cooldowns much more, like go in and out, and things will become a lot easier. Because like here, you're in range that if any of them threw something, they instantly deactivate your Warmogs, and then you have to rely on throwing your Qs again, which, again, this Q... is just it's like I said,
I'm in old Soraka mode.
Yeah, it's very different to get used to. Don't get me wrong, it will take you a few games to get used to it, but once you do, and you'll realize how kind of broken it was. As soon as I saw this update come through, I was like, I'm gonna hop into practice tool and see how much you can abuse this. And funny enough, I actually first found this build out from playing Zac, and then I was like, wait, hold on, like, I wonder if this works on Soraka, and then I found out that it did, and the build path was even better on Soraka, and that's how I actually found out about this, you know?
Ah. Yeah, I see.
But, so here, see, like, so even here, like, we walk up very, very far, like, we just don't need to.
Yeah.
And, like, here, we just want to keep healing. Actually, we're a little bit low on mana in this position, to be honest, so... The thing is, so our mana's lasted quite a while here, right? Like, it hasn't been too bad. But then, like I said, on the back, we get double Fairy Charm, and our mana problems are kind of gone. So we get this reset. Again, Amp Tome, you don't need it. Like, your job is to heal, not to really do damage. So it just
Yeah.
doesn't really do anything. Like,
Of course it
so
is.
we get the double fairy, which again 70% resale value, which is very good. It's same on rejuve beads as well. So if you're playing like tanks, and you have that extra gold, you can pick up a rejuve bead,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it's very very good. 70% sellback is very forgiving. And then
It's not
here
that.
we're just so the only thing is don't make sure you don't heal them if they're resetting. So like the Shen, even though
Yeah,
he's
I
a
was
bit
trying
silly,
to get him to stay, but he's
yeah, he
I don't know,
decided that he wanted to reset. So
whatever.
it's like I mean he does have ultimate, so it doesn't really matter too much. But like the
Yeah.
Hecarim, for example, just top up his HP. So like here, so see how we use ultimate there, where we didn't really need to. We could use our W. So what like one of the big things with this is your ultimate should only be used in between Ws if the fight is going insane, right? It's like when you have this build, they are forced to buy anti-heal, otherwise they can never do any damage because it's like you're constantly healing with W, and if your W is on the very short cooldown that it is, and they're like close to dying, then you use your ultimate. So it's kind of like your ultimate becomes your last kind of heal in line,
Yeah.
and then it becomes super super easy. So here again, we woke up, just start healing him.
And he
Um,
just runs away.
yeah, the Hecarim
Oh.
kind of just ran away. But there again, spam that W a bit more on Hecarim. Like it's on a
Yeah,
very very low cooldown.
I should just go for Shen here, but like,
Yeah. So see, we did actually get an opportunity
ah,
to heal him a little bit more there as well. We had
yeah,
one more heal opportunity. So just spam that W like crazy, like proper like just go crazy. It's
yeah,
super super valuable. So at this point we reset. We get Bandle again. Bandle glasses. I just don't like that item in general. To be honest, I just don't think it's very good. But it's obviously a necessity on sports. Well, unless you play WARMOGS Soraka, then you don't really need it for quite a while. But yeah, again here, you just want to stay kind of out of combat and just keep healing up over and over and over. So see here, we get our Warmogs removed by
yeah.
Baron. So we just don't walk up to it. Like, we just sit
Okay.
back healing because we don't
We're
really
like
do any damage.
we're gonna play pacifist. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna we're not we're like the in the 70s. We're like peace. We don't want any
Yeah,
wars.
yeah. We're gonna heal, and we're gonna do
But
nothing but heal.
wasn't that like Soraka's storyline? Is that she helped Warwick or something, and like then she got down from the stars, or yeah,
I think
it's
so. Yeah,
kind of
something
a
like
sick
that.
story. Yeah.
So yeah, we're just it's thematically correct Soraka build.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Like, so again, dragon's fine to sit on, but we do manage to get silence on a Shiko. Obviously, silence doesn't stop Smite. He just missed it.
What?
What?
It?
No, no,
Huh?
no. Smite goes through. Smite goes through no matter
Really?
what.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't even think suppression stops it.
Oh. Huh.
It's like it's a nice summoner from it. It's because they made it like they tried to make Smite as fair as possible to kind of like
Yeah.
to kind of out Smite. That's why what you
Yeah.
like the main thing that you look to do is take champions like Lee Sin and things like even like Elise and Trundle champions, and like this is why Olaf is so good, because everybody has the same smite range, the 900 true damage. But Olaf, what you do is you time your E with your smite, and because your E is also true damage, it's very very hard to outsmite an Olaf. Like a good Olaf is kind of outsmiteable, if that makes sense, because he has
Okay.
so much more true damage than the average champion.
Yeah.
But then we just kind of finish off. Again, we walk up a little bit far, but
yeah.
So here we actually get it dinged, offers. What actually stops it here? So the Lux E, we kind of walk into it. So again, we don't even have to be in range for the Lux E. Like we can sit all the way back, and we're completely fine. Like here, we don't really need to walk up that far. We just need to heal
So I
though.
shouldn't be with him?
No, no, because it's Hecarim. Like it's gonna be more value when he comes back, and then we heal him as he comes back. Because that way
Ah, okay.
we've still got the movement speed in our passive to get to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can just heal him up, and then here, like yeah, we just spam heals on him. And as you can see, the amount of HP that we're regenning is just crazy, you know. Here we get it deactivated again by something. So this is kind of one of them risky situations to get it deactivated. What did it deactivate on?
The minion.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so you can see obviously how it works. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to, but overall it's completely fine. And the thing is, again, it's a little bit of a different playstyle of Soraka, but since you've already played it so much before, like I'm more than confident that you're going to climb pretty hard with it. And again, like I said, you just have that kind of period where it's a little bit awkward while you're just kind of waiting for you're just waiting to kind of finish that WARMOGS, but even then, like the double Kindle gem will still provide you with so much kind of value that it doesn't really matter too much. It's just 3,000 gold is a little bit rough, but it means that you only need 950 gold, and you've basically got well, no, sorry, because you need the Kindle gem as well, but within like 4,000 to 5,000 gold, you've basically fully built. So you can kind of pop off, and again, because you kind of rush the Warmogs, you spend your support item gold on actually getting it, and then after that you're just looking for any kind of like mana costs. Now obviously tier you can't really go because it's super late into the game, but those fairy charms, you can just stack a few of them and then just play around that instead. So yeah, that's kind of the a bit more in depth with it. Is there anything about the kind of build or anything that you'd like me to clarify, or I think it's pretty
Yeah.
covered, right?
No. I only like wonder. Now we first picked Soraka. Is it better to first pick Soraka than Seraphine or Rakan?
I'd probably say so. Yeah, Rakan has a ton of counters. Like say
Yeah.
if you take Rakan here, Lux, you're never going to do anything because if Rakan gets CC'd mid W, it actually cancels the W. So this is why champions like Lux and Zerath and even things like Zyra, and you can never really play Rakan into them, so he's very, very easy to counter. Whereas Soraka, it's like she will always be good because it's like, say for example, if your team, so let's say both teams are doing 100% damage. If you've got this build and you're healing up between 50 to 75% of the damage coming towards your team, then the enemy team are doing 25% damage, and your team are doing 100%. So it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily matter then if your team is super behind and they just can't do any damage, because they're still going to do more than the enemy team due to the way that you're healing everything back up. So I think Soraka is a much safer blind pick. Seraphine is okay because she's long range, but like I said, if they go like a Seraphine, then they can pull out anything that can go Shadow Flame, and then all of a sudden it becomes very, very risky to go it as well,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Soraka is the safest blind pick. Rakan's good if you need engage, and again, Seraphine is good if you need poke, so you then fulfill that kind of triangle, but I'd say Soraka is just way too broken right now to kind of need to care about this as much. But yeah, so I definitely think she's a better blind pick. So yeah, I'd say focus her a lot more, to be honest. And again, global map pressure, always good, because it's like if your top lane's inting, like top lane is one of the most unforgiving lanes because it's a long lane, which means
Yeah.
you can get frozen very easily on. And if you get frozen in top lane, very rarely do top laners have wave clear. So because they don't really have wave clear, they can't really do that much to break those freezes, and they're just waiting for the jungler to walk up, which if enemy jungler knows what they're doing, they'll come and just start killing them. But again, you can save them with your ult throw, which is pretty handy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll end that recording there then.